We should read the fanfiction, but yeah. Did you download it?
I'll do it right now on this laptop, so I can read.
What? You haven't done it yet? Actually, now I have to search for it. Where was it? Gex incest.
No, it just says Gex.
Yeah,
Gex,
I know, but
please. Okay, so the one that is thicker, the thicker text is Rex, I guess, right? Rez.
No, it's Rez, yeah. The normal text is, normal, and, well, the text with the quotation marks that isn't bold is Gex.
Okay.
And I would say you voice the normal voice and the Rez voice, and I voice the Gex voice. I guess that makes the most sense, because you change your voice when you are Rez, right? Right.
I guess.
Will you understand? Oh yeah.
Maybe position the microphone a little bit. Alright.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me while I kiss the oval program sky.
Okay. Alright, so I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
The fan fiction is called Gex Please. Or
Wait,
Gex.
no.
Oh,
Actually,
wait.
it's just called Gex and Rez. But it's
okay.
not in the text.
Oh, so I have to start with him already, okay.
Gex, please.
That was a word he hadn't heard in a while. Normally this would have been the part where he would have thumbed the power switch on the remote, wielding like a phaser towards the static warped Frankenstein cyberpunk image of his arch enemy after he tried pulling some Darth Vader crap on him. But something stopped him when he heard that word. It was magic after all, as the Patridge family could attest to.
Please?
That gecko lowered his weapon of choice.
You got a face like O.G. Simpson's glove, and you think I'm gonna be swayed over by you asking, "Pretty please, don't hurt me"?
Don't hurt me.
I only want
Don't hurt me.
to be
No
with
more.
Murmured the cyborg within the flickering TV screen.
My mind was disordered by the influence of this dimension. Now that I am weak, and you have freed me from its voices, I can finally see you the way I wanted to. I chased you for a reason, not to torture you, but to find you.
Oh my god.
Alright, look, Raz. This whole Nemesis stick wasn't funny the first time, and now I'm missing the Fresh Prince because of you.
My methods were cruel only because my mind was unclean.
Like an LAPD office party.
But in the deepest recess of my mind, I knew you. I remember you. I wanted to find our family.
And on your left,
You were the only one I could reach. Your face lit up in front of the television. A face I remember so well back when you were but hatching in Hawaii. Gex did not listen.
Wait, oh shit. Gex did not listen, tapping the remote against his leg as he looked around the strange infernal lair they had faced off in. A pool of static sizzled like a gaseous solid mix with exceeding hatred. Televisions lined the walls in a dizzying array of test color patterns, flickering images ranging from frogs to presidents to that one Shirley Temple commercial where you could buy all her songs for just $49.99.
Whoa,
Rez's image had faded from every other screen except the one behind him, half buried in the crumpled floor of the plated steel and corrugated iron that surely came from some Roswell loon's basement.
I I was corrupted by my accident.
Continued Rez.
The little consciousness I had, the lizard consciousness I had, was spread across the junkyard I fell into, slowly pissing myself together with a filk of pudding and band-aids. You see, the static, this noise liquefied that pours into every fiber of the media dimension. That is your essence of rest. The essence that builds me up by me over, and so my existence became a part of the media dimension.
Yeah, sure.
Said Gex, waving a hand back at him.
You totally didn't look up the space shuttle accident on AOL and use that against me, just to try and make me spare you. You're just a metalhead that can't stand the fact that I whooped your ass once, when you thought I was some rush limbo-loving jerk whose only exercise was lifting his thumb once a week.
I only wanted to find you, not destroy you. That was Rez doing, not me. I tried to resist him.
Oh, I'm sorry. You really think the Son or Sam defense is gonna work on me? Buddy!
The gecko twirled his remote like a revolver. What?
Whipping.
Whipping it up into the air with a showy flare and constant sneer exasperation plastered on his cheeks.
I've watched every episode of Magnum P.I., Dragonet, and all 6 episodes of Police Squad.
Really?
Said Rez, genuinely curious.
But only 4 of them were ever broadcast on TV.
You'd be surprised what public cable can dig up, but point is, you ain't gonna worm your way out of this. You dragged me in here once, making me run on conveyor belts on bobbing balls longer than Jane Fonda spent touring Vietnam. And the only reason I came back in was because the man was so kind to ask me, after dragging me into a courtroom and bribing me with the moolah.
What can I do to make you believe me?
Nothing. So it's time to make a wish before you go beep.
Wait! Tail time!
Huh?
He stopped with the remote pointed straight upon the beastly freed head.
I remember you. Thank Dad when you fought, when the last vestiges of Rez's influence weakened from me.
Yeah, it's my thing, Gano. I'm thinking of making it like a catchphrase, like trademarked. You can do that, right? I mean, sure, fast food companies get to do it, so why not me?
You.
Okay.
When Rez laughed, before he was wicked, diabolical, like Mr. Burns, whoever owned Fox by this point. But this laugh was different. It was oddly gentle and warm-hearted, even through the meddling voice of the creepy mechanical beast, which seemed to blur and distort like a Saturday morning villain. That laugh frightened him more than he thought, because it was strangely familiar.
What? You too cheap to buy a laugh track now for yourself? What's so funny?
Crumpets all round, I think, sir.
You remember when your father came home from his days at NASA? Family was happy and food was on the table. Smooth honeyed cricket pella with extra grasshoppers.
Yeah, Mom always was a great cook. She even taught monkeys how to cook, and I don't mean the pasty ones on ABC.
The food was hot. The warm island air filtering through the house as we would finish eating.
Pretty sure you can't eat. By the way, Spielberg wants his shark face back.
Before you went to bed, do you remember what you and your father used to do?
We watch TV?
The gecko said with obvious shrug.
What else was I gonna do? Ukulele classes aren't on at night.
Your father would pull up in his arms and say one thing, and you knew it was coming. You always loved it with the greatest smile on your face, because it was one time of the day that you and your father could sit on your tails and do nothing but watch TV
while I kiss the oval
next
program
hour and a
sky.
half before bed.
Wait, wait, what?
What would I say to you? Guess what time it is?
Um. Wait, no, I'm a bit confused. So is this... this is a flashback or something. I guess you do the father's voice, Dario.
Okay.
Come on, son. Guess what time it is? Staring at his father's eyes, the little hatchling sighed up and curled up tighter against his neck. A little ball of green with purple scales down his back, and he smiled broadly. He desperately tried to not yawn, but his face contorted with a rigid jaw as half of his breath rattled out his rubbery snout. Tired, champ?
No,
He whimpered.
I'm good, Dad.
You sure? Can always hold it off for tomorrow.
No, I'm awake. Come on, Dad. We do it every night when you're back.
I feel like hucking a loogie.
Alright then. Come on, let's see what's on. Warm Hawaiian breeze drifted through the window as the sounds of the ocean lapped faintly from beyond their hearing almost. They sat on the sofa together. The small gecko sitting up in the father's lap with tails hanging. What? With tails? With tails hanging between their legs over their couch's side. He felt his dad wrap an arm around his waist, pulling him close with his other hand, taking the remote and aiming it at their TV. What are you gonna want to watch tonight? Asked his father. Oh, wait, I heard they got Back to the Future on Channel 3.
Yeah!
He squeaked.
That movie's awesome.
Alright then, let's click it on.
Wait, you gotta say it first.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. How about you say it this night?
Huh?
His father handed him the remote, gently guiding his son's thumb towards the correct channel button. Go on. Tell me what time it is. The look in Gex's eyes was that of an ape. When staring at his father, a strange sense of honor, as if knighted for a duty to the errant gods of his land. His sword in his hand that trembled with destiny, and a sitting power from its plastic handle and smooth rubber sparkled surface, each one of which the gateway to a new world of drills and chills. The young gecko embraced himself as he turned his head back towards the Technicolor 2, the portal to the dreams and nightmares beyond any of their means.
It's tail time. Click.
Gex dropped the remote. His head felt warm as his legs turned to jelly. Stumbling slightly, he fell on his knees and resisted the urge to vomit from the uncomfortable tightness in his guts. Fingers clenched with little sucker pads popping against the metal floor as he looked up towards Rez's image on the screen.
Good one, Dad. Good lads. I'll have creepy stalker secrets for 200, Alex. You've been stalking me for that long. Even back when I was a kid.
Search your feelings.
Excuse me,
You
while I
know
kiss
it
the
to be
oval
true.
program sky.
No! You already did that Darth Vader crap.
I'm sorry. I really just like that movie, Gex. You know it was my
And on your
favorite.
left,
No, it wasn't, cause you're not my dad.
Please stop fighting me, Gex.
I won. I already beat you. The G-men are gonna give me my money. And I'm gonna be dipping my toe into some girl's bed tonight.
Then let me prove to you I am your father. Ask me something.
Huh?
Ask me something only your father would know. If I get it wrong, we'll let you vanish and return back. But if I am right, then I only wish to spend time with you.
Staggering with his feet, Gex pondered his fair deal with a scritch off his smoothed throat, recomposing himself. His cocky grin returned to him with some consideration as he picked up the remote once more, ready to fire at the moment's choice. A moment's notice.
Okay then, Daddy. This one's for the big money, no whammies. What was the first TV show I ever watched?
Rez closed his eyes, thinking calmly for himself. Long copper-tinned claws woven from the stripped circuits and transistors caressing his pointed chin.
Happy days.
Lucky guess. Alright, what episode? Come on, why would a kid like me watch the fonts?
The shark. He laughed when Fonzie jumped over the shark. It was the first time you watched the television, and you could not stop laughing.
That can't be right. You know why? Because that episode was broadcast in 1977. I'm too young for that, so ha!
It was a marathon they were running on ABC. Your mother liked the show. She kept it on because she said she liked hearing.
Voices in the house while you were away.
Slumping onto the floor with his tail between his legs, the gecko sat himself in front of his reconstructed father, with hands clasped underneath his chin. The remote lay discarded next to him as he slapped his tongue across his lips, frantically trying to wave his way out of this. It was a nervous tick, wetting his cheeks with his gecko tongue as he burned his stare into Rez. With skewering arrogance to defy him, he had to. He needed to.
I feel like hucking a loop.
So, let's just say you're my dad. Not saying you are, cause I ain't gonna fall for your tricks. But if you are, what do you want anyway?
Freedom. From static shores, from Rez's influence sleeping through my ears and eyes, just so I can escape. Rez wanted you because he was fascinated by you. He felt my memories of you, and I became his host, a demon possessing me.
And why should I think you're even talking to me now and not Rez, Dad?
Rez would not know the things that I know. He has my body, but he does not have my mind.
So is there a way to defeat Rez? Like actually get him the hell out of you?
Rez is in the essence a wretched cancer that infects throughout the media dimension. And so long as I remain here, I too will succumb to him. Help me free. Portable TV there.
The monster pointed over to the small screen, wedged into the wall with a handle coming off it.
Transfer into it, then take me to the Disney vault.
Huh? Why?
Because nothing gets inside, not even Rez.
And how are you gonna get inside, big guy? What were you, Walt's water boy or something?
I was one of the enlightened few as an engineer to know the secrets of the Disney vault, and sworn under contract.
Wait, how?
Squawked Gex, swinging arms out.
I worked at NASA. Disney hired a few of us to help construct their new theme park.
Wow, you said Disney so much we were gonna get sued the crap out of us.
I am sure your government friends will waiver immunity.
Buddy, Disney is the government. Alright.
The gecko hopped up, walking over the small portable TV that he wrenched from the wall and plunked down in front of Rez's prison.
Now, take that remote and press source twice.
I know how to work a remote.
Said Gat, snatching it up.
I have like 12 of these at home. Heck, I'm the only guy in all of the United States that even set the VCR clock.
Really? Why, you can't afford a watch?
Yeah, but I gotta lift my arm or turn my head to look at it. Why do that when I can just look slightly down and see the time right there below Urkel White's stupid pants?
Perhaps you can get a job after this if you're that smart.
Nah, I'm too smart for that.
Clicking the source button twice, Rez's image faded from one television to another, as his father's corrupted face leered up at him from his tinier visage. The gecko picked up the Porta TV and walked out to Rez's lair, bursting through the static gate and back into the hub world between channels. A strange empty void of Doric columns and statues of himself, which he never understood but did not question. He wandered with Rez underneath his fingers, towards the sacred vault of the cherished Discovery Family classics of animation, which lay buried far beneath the realms of media. Wading through the MASH reruns, or MASH, and repeating Hanna-Barbera backdrops beyond the realm of Christmas movies and slip-sliding through Friday the 13th sequels with machetes flying past his head, Gex eventually managed to swerve his way through the legendary vault. Two of them before him.
Hey.
Gex lifted up the small TV to his face.
Why is there two of them?
One's for memorabilia, the other is for personal. That is currently empty.
Huh? Why? Wouldn't Walt be at least in there?
No, he is in a special place. I am not at liberty to say, or else I would be assassinated by two chipmunks in the dead of night.
Wow, no kidding. Alright, so you wanna open this?
If you trust me enough to do so, yes. Just press eject.
The gecko did so, allowing Rez to vault free from his bindings in cathode ray tubes and transmissional frequencies as he appeared fully before Gex once more. The frilled head of the plate steel with screwball eyes and shark's grin sat upon the burly blocky chest, supported by a single hovering jet where his legs should be. Thin claws tapped at the keypad as Personnel Vault opened it to reveal an empty space, with some various supplies left inside and well preserved for any future apocalypse revolution that will be wearing such. But beyond that, it was a surprisingly comfortable vault, with featureless walls and seats separate rooms.
Jeez, this place is bigger than Siegfried and Roy's
I
wardrobe.
feel like hugging a loser.
No, I think there's bigger. Remember, there are two of them.
Yeah, but they're synchronized clothes. I mean, they gotta share one closet, right?
I am not certain. Maybe when your references are actually relevant someday,
Excuse me,
I might be able to tell them.
program sky.
Alright, sure.
They sat down onto the chairs, and relaxed at the vault's closed its door. There was no static, not even from the TV, which now was turned off and set aside to the floor as Rez sided with an unholy peace. His eyes closed as he slumped exhausted with a heavy thud into the comfy chair.
The voice faded.
Great, now you can stop trying to murder me.
Yes, I hope this is not weird to you.
Oh, what, you're kidding? Hiding in a vault with my nemesis who claims to be my dad and is trying to get out of some weird junky brainwashing from the media
I
dimension?
feel like hugging a loser.
No, that's not weird at all, no.
Gex flipped himself back on his feet.
What's weird for me is when they show Underdog reruns in this day and age. And why all the big Hanna-Barbera shows are just rip-offs of the 50s, like, what? They couldn't do what Tom and Jerry did?
It is strange, I agree. I enjoyed Top Cat.
I like Flintstones myself, at least they got some extra jokes in with all the animals.
It's a living.
So, why did you become an astronaut?
Rez turned towards his son with intrigue and hope in his blank steel gaze whilst Gex swept a hand across his bald head.
I mean, just if you're my dad, you'd have an answer for that, don't you?
Captain. And on your left, Aaron Spelling's broom closet.
Well, when I was a hatchling, I used to watch Star Trek. I love science fiction. You remember I said my favorite movie was The Empire Strikes Back.
Wrong serious, jeez, are you that old already?
What I meant was that ever since I first saw the USS Enterprise glide across my screen with a crew of humans from different races for once, working together to explore
And on
strange
your
new
left,
worlds and
Aaron
boldly
Spelling's
go
room.
where no man had gone before. I wanted to be.
You and me both. Getting all that tail from all them space alien babes.
I was more into the strange new worlds.
Said Rez, cocking his head.
Do you ever date without that brain between your legs?
Well, sure I do.
Argued the son, slumping himself back into the seat. It's just
more.
Oh wait,
Hey,
oh, fuck.
It's just more fun thinking of that part.
And what is it telling you now?
It's telling me if I don't get laid in the next 20 hours, I'm gonna go crazy!
I feel like hucking a loogie.
Always were an excitable little gecko. I am not surprised.
Well, I mean, you had mom, and you did enough to have me and the rest of us.
Enough, yes. Perhaps I should show you.
What?
Gotta do it.
You must have a lot of them. Ladies in your bed.
And on your left, Aaron Spelling's
Yeah, sure I do. Lots of them. And ever since I got rich, plenty more.
How often do you spend the night?
Rez leaned over his seat towards Gex with his best attempt at a non-threatening smile.
Like every week. You know it.
Just the same as I used to.
Used to? What, you can't find nobody to bang around here? I bet you anything Betty Rubble is desperate.
I learned very early in my life not to get involved with the married women or men.
Wait, man, you swing that way too?
Yes, that's not a problem, is it, Gex?
I feel like hucking a loogie.
He leaned even further with one hand, propping up his chin. He watched the gecko's reaction. A mixture of nerves and awkwardness flustered him as he pulled his neck like a collar.
No, why would it be? I don't got a problem. I'm cool with it. I'm with it. I'm not gonna be gay. I mean, against gay guys. What's the problem?
Oh, you've never had that experience with a man, Gex.
No! Who told you that?
Gex filled his eyes back and forth with the fingers clenched against his armrests.
Nobody done anything, and if some guy called Barry ever told you anything, then he's a filthy liar. He's Tom Arnold to my Rosin. Don't listen to him. Oh, he's
Well,
done.
if you are not experienced, perhaps I can help you.
That's the perfect pause thing.
What? At this point, Gex pulled his body up to perch upon the seat.
What the hell is your deal? You trap me in the wall just to want to hide the sausage?
No, not at all. But I have desperately penned up. And you know as well as I do that being trapped for so long without any form of relief is playing hell with my body.
You don't have a body.
I still have enough of one besides this. Might I offer a suggestion?
Ugh, you're gonna make me do stuff with ya?
You do not have to, but I can help you find relief in turn. Assist each other, and I know you must be pent up, Gex. And not add lady inside around here until I recover enough so we can escape.
I could just leave you here.
And without me, you won't get your money.
Gex sighed with growing frustration. The talk about ladies had started to arouse him, but he also knew that Rez had a point in that he could not leave without him. He started to lick his cheeks again, which made Rez chuckle.
You used to do that. That when you were young and nervous too.
Shut up, Dad! Oh!
Gex collapsed a hand on his mouth.
Oh, so you do believe me.
No! No, it was just a reflex. It's like a Woody Allen's wife.
I I see. Oh wait. You can throw as many roasts as you like to defend yourself, but you believe me one way or another, Gex.
I'm not falling for that.
The gecko crossed his arms and legs fiercely tight.
I'm gonna keep me up with me so we can get out of here and turn you over to the feds.
I see. And you won't mind if I offer you some relief?
What, like a drink?
No.
The machinist. Oh no, wait. The machinist hovered from his seat with a gentle hum of his jet, a soft traveling burn as he floated across the floor to stand before his nemesis. Just above his engine was a compartment in the crotch area, one made of a smooth rubbery substance that blended with his hard steel body as it opened it up to reveal something bizarre. Flesh! Actual penile flesh sprouting from a rubber sled that startled Gex even further. It looked like exactly like his own.
Do you believe me now, son?
Oh jeez, you really wanna do this.
The lip smacking started again as he rubbed his neck.
What? You really? We doing this?
You do not believe me to be your father. And this will be just as an unusual prize and not like Woody Allen's wife, as you eloquently put
That's
it.
amazing, sir. Well done.
Well, no, I'm not a kid, so either way it wouldn't be. This is... Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is actually less creepy even if you were my dad. Actually, when you put it that way, this don't seem so bad. I could, kinda sorta do stuff with you.
I'm in George Jetson's colon.
Well, I know that you and I are such fur-eyed geckos, and we must find a way to state ourselves until we are able to escape the media dimension proper. Whatever happens in the vault stays inside this vault.
Alright.
The gecko relaxed in a sense of feudal acceptance as he moved himself forwards.
That is your dick though, right? Like, not something you made?
It is my original one, yes. The one you came from.
Oh my god. Okay, I still don't believe you on that, and I thought we were going for less creepy.
So. Are we?
Yeah, oh, alright, sure. I mean, you're not my dad like I've been saying, so it wouldn't be weird or anything, right?
Right, as you said.
But you are gonna give me some, right?
Of course, Scout's honor.
The beastly lord of the media dimension made a cross of his fingers in honored Boy Scouts fashion and hovered closer to the gecko, who gulped with growing nerves at the strangely familiar shaft pulsing before his eyes. He felt embarrassed for a rare time of his life, feeling himself become aroused by the clean musk radiating from Jerez's cock as he gently licked across the bubbleless tip. It definitely tasted like cock, and the fact that he knew what that tasted like made him feel shameful. But continued to lick, his soft, smooth gecko tongue flicking across the glands as Rez sided with a peaceful noise.
Yes!
Gex started to put his lips on the firm meat, which now had risen to a prominent 8 inches of hot red shaft, as he giggled, gingerly wrapped his sticky fingers around it to hold it steady. Swallowing deeper, this first 2 inches slipped into his warm, permeable mouth. As his cheeks puffed with clumsy skill, the tongue was his best asset, slipping and stretching along the thick surface of the cock. Swirling round and round in a helter-skelter fashion to reach the base, he squeezed it around the trembling deck tightly, clenching to a pleasure him as he trotted deeper and deeper.
Gex! That's it. Oh, it's such a terrible you are.
Are you dying?
I'm dying now.
The praise made him feel strangely happy. Despite who he was, from encouraged him to go further. His throat was rather flexible, with gecko proportions, and managing to take the entire cock inside without choking, as he sucked tenderly. Sometimes he sucked hard as if slurping through the straw, whilst other times he pulled back to make a small nursing motion with puckered lips. Through all of his gex became increasingly hard. A full single 6-inch cock with slender proportions. Slowly, the gecko pulled himself free from Rez's dick, slobbering across the shaft as he made slow, dragging motions of the tongue from the base to the tip, numbing across the length and suckling parts of it. With growing eagerness, Rez placed his claws with tender care upon his son's head, stroking the smooth scalp of the warm scales as the gecko did his best not to look at him. He understood his face was pretty gruesome, and said nothing apart from rasping moans, his bulbous shaft trickling out the head, with Gex lapped softly after taking his finger off with a poo pop of his sticky pads.
Tastes like tin peaches with a butler of salt.
You can stop now. I want to look at anything over here.
You really gotta try and suck me up with that shark face. Oh my god.
No. I know the oral sex is out of the question. However, I can pleasure you in another way.
I'm in George Jackson's colon.
Rez gripped the gecko's cock with his copper claws. Oh my god. But surprisingly gentle in doing so. Despite the sharp points and thin razor edges, he carefully stroked his son with tender pumping motions. Sometimes the clawed edges got too close to his skin, threatening to slice, but they never fully did, giving a sense of fretful excitement to Gex at how close these perilous lengths were to his little friend.
Oh, jeez. What the...
Such a warm big boy you are. No wonder you bed so many ladies.
Yeah, they all want a little piece of me.
Such a handsome gecko. Yes. Just like that, let me take care of you, my son.
You doing that again?
Welcome aboard the Love Boat.
Rez came close to lick across Gex's snout with a fleshy tongue between his vicious teeth.
I will make you happy again, Gex.
Hey,
I know you have
I'm in
needed
George
this.
Jackson's colon.
What I need now is a hotel room and a champagne lady. Oh.
The claws that masturbated him were incredible in their care and swiftness. It was a tender feeling that Gex slid into a peaceful state, laying back to an armchair and sighing as he bucked his hips into the soft, squeezing, rigid claws with tender, breathy licks from Rez's tongue on his face. His breath was devoid of any scent, apart from a slight metallicness, like the smell of a fresh new car or the inside of a PC store. It suited Gex immensely.
That feels great.
You like that, Gex?
Yeah, I do. It's wow. You really know how to make my meat with those things.
Yeah. Years spent with this body helped me learn how careless my own without hurting him.
Hey, forget about it.
Now I can do the same for you, son.
I thought you were gonna drop that.
You do not believe me? So why are you so concerned about what is not true?
This is from Mr. Sinatra.
Rez dragged his tongue across Gex's cheek. First one, then the other, as the metallic breath washed over him, causing the gecko to spurt his pre-slicky over Rez's claws.
Holy jeez, I feel I'm gonna blow.
Good.
He stopped stroking him.
Now let us have some real fun.
What?
He picked up the small TV at the side and reached his fingers through the static imagery, pulling out a long spool of liquid noise that became a rubbery tentacle in his grip. The cyber entity spread Gex's legs and placed a static tendril towards Gex's rump.
I want to prepare you for this. I do not want to hurt you when I have sex with you.
What? You really gonna fuck me?
Do you not want to?
I like you said, I don't believe you're my dad, so it won't be weird.
Good. Now just relax, ease your spinster, and let it in.
Wait,
Sure.
look at
Could
this.
you take- What?
And look
What?
what's coming here.
The fuck is that?
Oh my god, it's an anime chick.
Wow, great, you
fuck?
fucking killed her.
What the fuck?
Sure, but could you tell your friend to wear a glove first?
The gecko jumped at the creeping vine of noise warming its way into him. A warm, fuzzy sensation that crawled into his sweet puckered hole. That spread slowly at first until he remembered Rez's advice. The feeling was discomforting. His walls starting to vibrate from both and the urge to the clench, as well as the static noise shivering its hot, mangled audio against the rippling anal muscles. Rez looked on with his glistening claws jerking himself off and remaining hard for the upcoming fun.
Didn't you say this stuff was Rez?
Asked the panting Gex.
He exists in that, but the TV we took does not have him in it. He is a ghost within the machine.
Right, whatever you say. Oh jeez.
Slowly, the tentacle crept further inside Gex's, kept his legs spread apart. His suckered feet twitching his padded toes as his tail flexed.
What?
That was my watch. And whipped back and forth along the ground. He went for his cock to jerk himself off. Once the feeling started to turn pleasurable, the hissing, heat, and static becoming solid inside his walls, making him buck his hips in mid-stroke. Rez smiled as he did the same sighting at the handsome gecko, who had his eyes half closed in a growing bliss, the precum splattering on his lighter green chest, whilst the tendril from the TV twisted and plunged inside his ass. Deeper it went, further and further in until it started creeping on his prostate with exceptional ease and penetrating through him. His anal walls relaxed, his tail spasmed less, and his parenchyma turned thick.
Oh god, this feels awesome!
Isn't it? I wish I could have the same pleasure, but I can at least give you that.
Yeah, well that's nice of you.
Careful! You don't want to come yet. Not after I have had my fun with you.
Right.
Gex reluctantly pulled his hand away from his cock.
You know, normally geckos like us got 2 of these.
That is a disability of our family, yes. The singular penis. Oh fuck. My fun, singular penis. I hope that did not cause you any problems with your sex life.
No, just some people ask and it's kinda weird.
Well, that is none of their business.
Wait, that's Rez.
Well, that is none of their business, but this is our business.
Floating closer, Rez detracted the tentacle back into the TV with a solid thunk to the receiver, sending it sharply reeling into the Venice it came before the Media Lord himself hovered in front of his son. Claws wrapped and lukewarm around Gex's scaled legs, which spread themselves open.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead, Daddy.
Now who's being creepy?
Stereo Mr. Wuju winner 1998.
I will have to teach you that mouth of yours a good lesson. Also, what the fuck is the screen? Oh!
Good luck, sexier man than you have failed.
Sexier?
I mean, good-looking, handsome, not men I find sexually attractive. No way.
Just relax. Let Daddy do everything.
Slowly he pressed his big meat against his son's rump, prodding and rubbing along the loosened tail hole, watching Gex's expression from discomfort. Once he started to relax, Rez pushed him his thick glance to spread him just a little bit wider, much to the gecko's panting gasps.
Does it hurt?
No, you hurt me worse with like 40 missiles and your giant ham fists.
Such a tough boy you are. Well, I won't hold back.
With firm shove, Rez pushed his way inside of his son. Winced and shuddered with his licking lips, the gapping of his walls giving a hard, warm, dull throb that he tried not to clench instinctively for him. The machinist fucked another inch than the two before pulling back out and siding back in with a careful shorter thrust, teasing Gex's pucker with a constant ribbing motion against his hot rigid flesh. Gex clamped his hands upon the armrests for support, lifting his ass slightly to the let Rez inside easier as the Media Lord chuckled with deep trembling breaths of static bass, a slight drooling between his steak knife and teeth which dripped upon his son's stomach. His claws gripped tighter but never cutting the skin, panting ragged as he shoved halfway in the feel of Gex's walls tightened up in reflex. Thick, suckling anal walls that pulls to his heartbeat.
Oh, Gex! Oh, your body is warm. Oh, I miss you, my son.
You're really trying to say me Daddy laugh, huh?
I cannot help it. Oh, I want you. I need you, Gex. My tough handsome boy.
Handsome is right. You can't resist, can't ya? Come on, get at me real deep. I think I can take it after when we fought.
Oh, you think you are that tough?
You think you raised a weak ass son? Maybe Daddy better teach him how to be tough.
You asked for it.
The fearsome Rez slammed himself entirely in, thrusting to the fullest hilt as his rubber convex slit smacked coldly against Gex's ass, the tail shivering underneath. The warm afterburner of his hover jet steamed along the tail, which made the gecko tremble at such sensation of warm, filtering air breathing across his scaled skin. he felt a slight bulge inside his gut as he thick, meaty glands grinded against his prostate, causing the gecko to spurt hot pre onto his chest as withered and slimpered, panting hotter breaths as Rez leaned and carries his face with a thick, warm tongue.
Yes! How does that feel?
Good. Didn't hurt one bit.
Still being a tough lizard, I see.
I didn't say stop, did I, Dad?
No.
Without another word, he licked across Gex's lips. The gecko opened his mouth to suckle on his father's tongue, with thick, baited moans between them. They could never kiss proper with a steel teeth, but Rez breathed his open jaws upon him and let his son taste as much as he wanted of his fleshy muscle, sucking on it with his lean, flexy tongue. The beastly machine began to fuck again, sliding halfway out before pumping back in with slow, powerful thrusts to make Gex truly feel his strength. It hurts less every time, his walls opening up and allowing his former enemies inside to the fullest reach, as fake literally kept slapping against his ass. Gex suckered feet flexed and fully out behind Rez as he drove deeper within, adjusting his jet-fueled thruster to move back and forth. Having no legs made it difficult to really pound him, but he found a way with some slight angling to the jet to thrust forwards and slip back. Thrust and slip back, with every forward motion punching him hard in the gut as he spasmed and trod from his atching cock. Pulling pre became puddled then as upon as.
How does that feel? How does it feel now?
Good. Better than before.
Not too sore, is it, little lizard?
I ain't your little lizard no more. I can take it now. I watched every episode of All That Glitters. I'm invincible.
You're a run that fast. Wait until you watch every episode of Hello Larry.
Oh, come on. I just arrived through that snooze fast. That's not torture.
The show was so terrible. And it was the bottom of the ratings.
Just put your lips together.
When NBC was its lowest. You have to be that terrible to hit the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah, that. I am the greatest. Glitter smells shabby and a weak, obvious cliche on our role reversal of stereotypes between men and women. Oh, you can't just reverse the roles and write them exactly the same. That's just lazy. Oh.
That's satire. You have to exaggerate negative qualities. People who don't. God. Expose the criticized flaws of our society.
Satire. Only works when it's funny. Nothing was funny about what's basically an amateur production of All My Children.
Hello, Larry. Was just a. Let's recycle with one day at a time. It was airing at CBS for 9 years. Both our single parents divorced, raising 2 sons and not daughters. At least he would have.
Hey, yo, my friggin' name is friggin' Donnie Brasco.
He stopped to catch his breath, gasping with iron lungs, having from within its solid, unmoving chest the breath of a monster trapped inside a well sweeping across his son's face. Gex felt his father's cock beat steadily inside of him, halfway buried with a hot breeze spilling across his walls in a warm, gooey essence that slickly glistened between his rippling folded walls.
At least he would have had a setup of a scenario involving the problems of a father and his sons. The relationship would have been more relatable to an audience.
You complaining about a rip-off because you can't believe that a dad can raise 2 daughters?
No, he just didn't even bother changing anything but the main character onto himself.
This sounds better than all that glitters. It has the same problem except everybody swapped places and the whole thing stinks of this whole, what a women rule society. Gosh me golly, how insane would that be, right, fellas? With the biggest goddamn wink to the camera like, oh jeez, it's so patronizing.
Wait, what were we talking about again?
You were fucking my ass and saying I wasn't tough enough to handle it. Now chop, chop, daddy, gimme what you gave my mom, don't hold back.
Well then, yes, sorry. Well then, since you asked so politely,
I amuse you.
Renewed by his second breath of wind, Rez came down hard inside Gex with a jackhammering force, swinging his hips viciously back and forth with fuller half of his cock driving in deep before pulling straight out. His cock wetted with his own pre-glossing across the anal walls of his son, which flexed and suckled by a growing instinct. The gecko sputtered and cried out with the freakish strength of his father's new body, pumping his slickness shaft harder and harder, with desperation in nearing his climax. He wasn't going to stop. Both of them knew this. Gex braced himself in taking the hit, shivering through his spine with his tail sharply stiff every time Rez came plunging down against his prostate, whilst flexing and slightly twisting to accept his face, beastly, rigid cock. Slavering drool came down from his steel throat, synthetic like a xenomorph props saliva to drip and spatter upon Gex's neck. The strange fox spottom mixed with Gex's own pee that trickled off both sides of his chest. As they felt the heat increase, they were close. They wanted to come as one in a moment. As the gecko gasps,
Close. Oh, Dad.
yes,
I'm so close.
yes, Gex, one for me, one for your father.
That is one powerful piece of machinery.
he
That's
finally,
one powerful piece of machinery.
he finally spurted his hot lizard jizz sprang upwards into a hefty fountain, pent up on release, splattering on his face as well as dripping off the Rez's cold-plated head. The claws of copper transistors squeezed firmly as he drove in one last thrust before he came in turn through the shrieking roar, reminiscent of a Japanese movie monster. Warped and metallic, garbled and wrenched, but full of lust and love nonetheless, as he pumped hot, real semen deep inside his estranged son. Gex was blown away, feeling the cum pour into his orifice, the twitching tunnel secreting into his folds with the rest of dripping out thinly from his ass, down along his tail. They both took a moment to breathe, confused and uncertain on what they felt for each other. Both saw a strange vulnerability in the one another now revealed come apart beyond the grimmest steel face and the wild cocky sneer that had both rejected the world through their own means. The studded steel fiend felt his twitching member throb in its mixture of deepening into Gex. The gecko feeling the seed he came from now smoother his anal passage in the blissful heat. Rez pulled himself away with claws, releasing Gex's sides, the sweat glistening across the vein and leathery skin of his flesh and blood offspring.
Wow. So that's what it's like.
Was that the first time?
With a guy, yeah. Not... There's something up my ass. Hardy dares, don't ask, college red.
You went to college?
No, snuck out, joined in. Was a young teenage punk.
Was?
Whipped Rez with a fiendish shark's grin.
Hey, watch it. I can still click you off with my remote.
Well, I think that helps save both of our desires as our own males.
The former lord of the media dimension pulled himself free from extracting goo, hot webs, and sticky seed matting across his rubber-modded slit and Gex's ass cheeks.
Jeez. You're messy as hell.
Sorry, I was pent up.
You and me both.
Said Gex, with his arms spread showing the fine mess of jizz sprayed across his chest and throat.
Looks like both of us are real shooters.
Indeed, like father, like son.
Who cares?
He sat himself up from his seat, stretching his arms to beat off the exhaustion that was coming from his legs. The staggering of his feet, but then felt this energy drain from them fully enough that he plumped straight back down against the comfy seat. Rez hovered over towards his own seat next to the gecko as he slumped down against it. His hover jet reared stiffly, planted out front like a ducked tail.
You should know. You should know your bad sitcoms.
Replied Gex, turning his head on him.
What else can one do trapped in the media dimension?
Answered Rez, leaning his head back.
Yeah, I guess so. God, the Disney people are gonna kill you after they find the room ain't pristine.
I will take care of it. I know how to make things disappear.
So, you know the government dudes are gonna arrest you soon as you get out of here, right?
Not necessarily. My crimes only exist within the television world. And last I remember, the card cannot prosecute you for the crimes within television.
Yeah, cause if that was something, then Tim, the Toolman Taylor wouldn't have a job like ever. But seriously, where you gonna go after all this when we get back?
I have places I can be, unless you want to live with me.
Let's just play it by ear, you know, maybe after you get back you wanna watch some Mystery Science Theater. I'm too tired to rip on things, so let's have someone else do it for us.
That sounds good, son.
He reached out his claws towards the gecko, who did not even flinch from the cool, sharp grip upon his arms as he smiled back. Then he remembered himself and rolled his eyes, chuckling.
You were always sappy as hell, you know that, Dad?
Well, you try watching The Wrath of Khan and tell me your eyes don't weep every time you hear the amazing grace of Gap bagpipes.
Oh god. My eyes weep every time I hear bagpipes, but not for the reasons you think.
His mission was over. He had found and dethroned Rez from the media dimension's throne of the Z-list movies and bad reruns of aged sitcoms, but even more importantly, he had found something that was irreplaceable. A person who would spend the night with him for free and without warrant or obligation. Someone who understood his vexations. And for the first time in his life, he felt something inside his heart. Other than all the fury and sorrow he had bottled up for countless years. Something warm, something kind, something that compelled him to turn his head and ask,
Dad?
Yes.
Rez turned back on him, slightly shocked.
Can I sit on your lap?
Alright.
His smile was strange and frozen. He waited for the gecko to push himself free from his seat and walk with him dragging feet over towards his father. Crawling up onto his steel-chancelled chest, he sat himself down with his back towards Rez and spread his legs with a heavy sigh.
I just need to ask something.
Yo, this
What?
level looks like a friggin' fugazi.
Whispered Rez.
What time is it, Dad?
He closed his eyes, hoping to answer he wanted. As he felt Rez's arms sweep round his stomach, clutch him tightly like a plushy doll.
Tail time, Gex. Always and forever, tail time with you.
And that's the end. Wow.
Wow.
That was one
was-
hell of a fanfiction.
What the hell? That was one hell of a fanfiction, yeah.
So yeah, this one was written by... Forget about it. Siksulupka. I don't know how to spell this, pronounce this. Siksulupka.
Okay.
And you know, there's this one person who made like a really big comment on this. I'm gonna read this out loud now. Having said that this fanfiction made my day is saying nothing. This fanfiction made my life. I always dreamed of reading something about the relationship between Gex and Rez with possible incest theme, but it seemed like nobody of writers were interested in this idea, so I just continued to hoping that someone would write anything about it one day. The dream continued to live in me, but the hope of finding a fanfiction or even writing my own one began to fade away slowly. Until today. I just found this site. And I liked it due to the great variety in it and decided to register here to view different art of my favorite characters. I looked at some and just decided to see what was being painted about the good old Gex, and then I saw your fanfiction. From the first lines, I couldn't believe, did I really found it? I thought, and the answer was, yes. This is the ideal fanfiction that you've been looking for all these years. I jumped, danced weird, squeaked, and even cried of happiness when I finished reading the story. I'm serious. This is the peak of perfection and beauty. You have perfectly shown the feelings between Gex and Rez, the gentle love of father and son, and the passion of lovers. I love how Gex don't want to believe Rez. I love the backstory of Gex's childhood and how he got the phrase, it's tail time. I love how they talking about TV. I love everything! Everything in it, its place and perfectly matched. My words cannot describe how beautiful this fanfiction is. This is not just random story. This is a one-off dream of my life that you performed. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. You have no idea how happy you made me. You are brilliant. Never stop at what you're doing. And thank you once again.
What the fuck?
So yeah, this guy really loved this fanfiction.
Damn.
Well, thank you, son.